Hi guys, so I'm starting a series where I'm going to be talking about the ships in some of my favorite shows. So what I'm going to be doing here is just talking a bit about the show, the characters, and then getting into the ships that are present in those shows. And the first show that I'm going to be talking about is The Sex Lives of College Girls. I love this show. I was really interested in watching it once I saw the title because I was like, that's interesting. And it's a show that is set in college, which I've always really craved a show like that. I wanted a show set in college versus all the shows, all the years we've been getting shows set in high school and like no college content. I love a college show, so Sex Lives of College Girls, we're gonna get into it. So in the Sex Life of College Girls, we meet our four main girls. Kimberly, who's our poor, out of touch girl from the whitest town ever. Whitney, who's the senator's daughter and the resident athlete of the group. Bela, the sex positive reinvented fat nerd. And Leighton, the wasp, mean girl legacy student, who we later find out is a raging, closeted lesbian. Good for her. Me too, girl. I mean, I really love these girls. Something I really want in season 3 and beyond is I really want better storylines for Bela. I'm really tired of, just like everyone else, the Mindy just giving Indian girls the worst stories. Her little Indian girl tropes. They're just not for me. These girls deserve better. And for Whitney, I just want better love interests. Dalton was terrible. Canaan kind of felt like they were put together just because they were both black. So, that's something. And sometimes it's a bit hard to differentiate Leighton's character from who Renee Rapp just sort of is. If you've ever watched any of her TikToks on the internet, any of her videos, you can see that the Leighton from season 1 to season 2 kind of like morphs into like a hybrid Leighton Renee Rapp. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if they're like, this is kind of who Leighton is. I don't know if they just don't know how to write a lesbian storyline. They don't know who she is as a character. And so they're kind of just diverting to who Renee is, looking at how her life is going, or just saying like, you can put your own spin on these things. And then so it's kind of becoming somewhere where you can kind of not really tell Renee from Leighton. Leighton's morphing into more of who Renee is. And I'm like, that's cool, but I want to see Leighton as more of a cohesive character where I feel like, okay, this makes sense. Her kind of wasp personality at the beginning turning into like who Renee is, those are like definitely completely different sides of the spectrum, and it doesn't make so much sense just seeing it coming out of Renee's mouth and everything. It's like, okay, but like with the outfits, just it's not very, it doesn't go. The character, I love her, but I'm just like, I'm seeing Renee on screen more and more. She's a great actress. Never question that. It's just, who is Leighton really? They haven't decided that yet. As far as Kimberly, I really love the girl. She's so caring about everyone, but she's also a lying, messy girl. And we really need that. Like, love her. Love her to pieces. Keep doing what you're doing, girl. Lie to Whitney and all that. Great, thanks. I am loving it. Great, looking forward to season 3. Now, on to the ships. That was so lame. So the first ship that we do see blossoming in the Sex Lives of College Girls is Kimberly and Nico. She sees him jogging during move-in, and later she finds out he's Leighton's brother. But she don't care about that. That girl loves her a hot guy. So she's super into Nico. He ends up tutoring her in French, but then she finds out that's for tutoring credit. So she's like, I still want him though. I think they had very good friendship potential, but shows really don't like to let men and women just be friends, so they had to be something. I mean, I could see like the chemistry or just that she liked him there, but he didn't have to like her. There was no real reason, but I think that they maybe wanted to show like, oh, this small town girl can have like this hot guy want her, which I really like that. I love that. Weirdly though, they have a lot of that happening to Kimberly, but anyway, in this, like, I love it. He listens to her problems. They're able to talk to each other. That just has that very like friendship thing going on. And I don't really like a friends to lovers, but it was just, this is very like natural. I liked it. It gave me what I wanted to see. Um yes, some reason I don't understand, like, in the first season Kimberly's not hot at all. But for some reason, he thinks she's hot. I mean, I really think it was the haircut. I didn't like the haircut. Didn't think it was hot. He thought it was hot, obviously. Or maybe he was just like, she got that body, though. That's how she would say it. Yeah, but he thinks she's hot. Eventually, they have sex. They have sex many times. She becomes like a sex addict, which, okay. So, Kimberly's failing econ. Nico offers her a copy of the exam from a past year from Theta because they have this whole library of exams from different classes. She initially says no, I don't want it, which is like, okay, that's in her character. I feel like she would say that she wouldn't want it. She'd be like, no, I'm gonna figure it out. She could have went and studied with Canaan because apparently they're in the same class, which we kind of get like a foreshadowing of that, but like during the exam you see him in there, so like they're in the same class. Why didn't y'all study together? There was no reason for them not to. Literally made sense. I mean, they kind of have that Canaan doesn't really like Kimberly thing, but yeah, he does. He does. We'll talk about that later. He does. But yeah, initially she declines the test, but then she finds out Nico's a liar. He had a girlfriend the whole time. So she gets mad about that and goes and steals the test. He catches her stealing it, but lets her take it anyway because he feels bad. He's like, and shoot, he's part of the reason, even though it was her fault because she should have been studying, he's part of the reason she's failing the class. But let's like take a second to speak about how Kimberly just should have been smarter about how she was cheating. Girl, if you get the test, you study the test. You don't go and like look at the answers, go back, write the answer. You study that test. You have all the answers. You can study that. You don't need to take it with, like, that's just laziness. It's one thing if you're like, oh man, I don't have enough time. She had time. She could have did it the night before or something, like, and just study even just part of it, so you don't have to be going back and forth. You don't have to get a freaking 100 on the exam. You don't have to get 100. Just get like maybe just a B or something. The exam will really help your grade out. So shoot, like, she didn't have to go. Just be smart about how you're cheating. Don't go and hide it in the bathroom, keep going back and forth like nobody was gonna figure that out. You can't, even if you got a UTI, you're not going back and forth that many times. And you gotta remember more stuff than that. You can't like, oh, this. She was very stupid about it. She could have put that in there as a last resort in case she got stuck on a problem really bad and went in there once. And then, like, I mean, if you're gonna hide it, I guess it wasn't a bad hiding, but like, she was stupid about it for real. Yeah. But yeah, there was not really a resolution to Kimberly and Nico's relationship. When Leighton found out, she was like, you need to apologize to Kimberly for this. Like, you really hurt her. He might have. I mean, I think it was him getting the exam was like his supposed to be apology. He never really apologized about it. That's why Leighton was like, I'm telling your girlfriend that you're cheating. There was really no resolution from this relationship. I mean, I wasn't super into it. I didn't really care for it. I'm like, I don't care about it. We loved Leighton's storyline. Who cares about Kimberly's like Nico storyline? Nobody. I mean, I wasn't really for it. They weren't bad or anything. It was very cute. I really did love like the small town girl, super hot rich guy thing they had going on. And she wasn't hot for real, but he thought she was hot. I was into it. But it was just like a meh kind of thing. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, ride or die. Like, it's like, okay, move on to the next one, you know? I really always wanted to see her with Canaan. That's just like, from the start, I could see that. After they got over that initial weird, like, oh, she doesn't know anything about black people or anyone who's not white, I really could see it. But I was like, okay, I guess not. But that was my fave. Wanted to see that one, definitely. All right, pretty short and sweet on this one. Bela and Seth Meyers, okay? She said he's her dream guy. She doesn't know if she wants to have sex with him or she wants to be him. And you're like, she has no chance. This girl's a mess. But if you've watched season 2, you know Bela and comedians, she knows how to get them. So it could happen. This was a throwaway. All right, now let's take a moment and remember that Kimberly actually has a boyfriend when she comes to college. She has a boyfriend. His name's Max. He goes to Princeton. She goes to Essex, which apparently is in Vermont. I don't know where Princeton is. I don't know where Vermont is. So I don't know. But apparently I guess it's long distance-ish. So yeah. She's like, I have a boyfriend. He looks like Shawn Mendes because they're delusional and liars. And no, he doesn't. He comes to visit her at some point and he's like, oh, I left my credit card at Princeton. And what, like, freeloader? He's obviously a freeloader because who leaves their credit card, comes with no money when they're traveling? Like, if you have it, you don't travel without it. It doesn't make any sense. Like, are you a girl going to a bar? But okay. So he's a freeloader. He comes to Essex just to have sex with her and then break up with her. Which I'm like, dude, you're not hot. And I guess neither of them, at this point, I'm like, I don't think either of them are hot. So y'all belong together because of that. Yeah. Yeah. But she says that they haven't had sex because he hasn't been ready, but then he decides to come there and he wants to have sex all of a sudden. And then he's like, I think we should end it and see other people because this isn't going to work out. I want to be free for college. And it's like, I can completely understand that. But you don't come and you don't have sex with someone and then decide that you want to do that. Maybe you can say that before and then they're like, we should still have sex though. Because that's something we didn't do. I want to get rid of my virginity or something. If it's going to be bad, I guess should be bad with you. I don't know. Something like that. But, or just like, man, you were like my first love or anything like that. You could just be honest before you do that. Don't just do it and then be trash about it. Like, now this is bad. Like, you don't want to be like, oh, you're not hot. A hot person can do that. You're not hot, so you can't do it. Because, like, no one do that. Please just, like, no one do that. But at least be hot. It's, like, so stupid, but at least be hot. But, yeah, he, like, breaks up with her after they have sex. And then is like, can I borrow a toothbrush? Get out of here. This is the bottom, like, the worst one. Bela and Seth Meyers is better than this. Seriously. All right, now we're going to get into the most controversial relationship that was shown in the series. And is it because this man fetishizes black women? Or is it because he's the coach, she's a student? Is it because the relationship like started when she was in high school, I guess? I don't know. It's all of those things. Actually, yeah, it's all of those things. Um, but I think if he was hot, I might be a little into it. I just don't think he's hot. I don't think he's hot. I might be a little into it. I might be like, that is a little wrong, I guess. I think if he was hot and if he didn't fetishize black women, I would have been like, I kind of like this one, but I'm not mad when it ends. But I'm like, I don't think he's attractive. He does look like a big kid though, so it's just kind of like, it feels more okay. Like, I think this guy's probably like maybe 28 or something. I don't know. I didn't look up his age, but yeah, he doesn't look super old. He's just like a tall freaking teenager is what he looks like, really, to me. Maybe because he doesn't have facial hair. I don't know. Some guys look old without facial hair, so like, I mean, they're probably like 50 or something. I don't know. But immediately, no, because he's not hot, and I don't like you're like, oh, they had that one where Whitney was like, oh, I love your beautiful chocolatey skin. She was like making fun of like how he talked to her, and I was like, he probably like, yeah. But then he's like, no, I love sports girls, which like, you're a creep. Why are you out here recruiting like high schoolers? And you're like, I love sports girls. Go home to your wife that no one knew you had. Um, but like, yeah, we learned that this started pre-college. I think she says he scouted her when she was a junior, so I don't know if they were like talking back and forth or what, but obviously they had something going on there. Um, so yeah, Dalton's a pedophile. And I don't know if they said his age. He like looks like he'd be at least 24, maybe older, who knows. I don't know how old you need to be. I don't think they have like an age requirement, just like older than 18 to do like what he does. And then maybe like some kind of education probably. I don't know. I really like whatever. Looking too much into it is just a show. Let's talk about the ships. Um but yeah, at one point we do get that thing where Whitney's like, I like men, not boys. And then you see that she's dating Dalton, who you're like, yeah, he's a man, not a boy. And it's like, oh, I like older men. And then you're getting to that thing where you're like, when did this start? Was she like groomed or whatever? Because people like to get into that. I don't know. I don't know that I care. I'm just like, he's not hot. It's a show. I really don't care if they have a teacher-student relationship. I don't care. Unless the teacher's like really, really weird and it's like the student's like really, really young. At this point, she's like 18. He's just the assistant coach. I really don't care. I think no one would really have, people would have a problem. But it wouldn't be as much of a problem if you didn't hear like, oh, you scouted me when I was a junior in at high school. So then it feels like that thing where it's like, oh, I've known this man since I was a child. Now he wants to date me. And then it's like, that's freaking weird. We hate that. Like, even growing up as a young girl, you get like men trying to talk to you at the grocery store, and it's like, oh no, I don't want to flat iron my hair because then a man's gonna talk to me. Also, I just don't like men, so, but I don't know if I know this yet. Who knows? They have that moment where he's like, "Ooh, I love your skin," and she's like, "Oh, so you like my chocolatey skin? You have a black girl fetish?" He's like, "No, I have a soccer fetish." And then he's like, "Well, I just think black women are more attractive." So, dude, like, why'd you marry a white woman? Was it so you can just somehow justify dating young girls who play soccer on your teams? Was the other girl that he's done this with before like black too? Go home to your wife and divorce her and then find like a black woman who like is not in college. And even if she's in college, it's fine. Who cares? But like, don't find her when she's in high school. Don't let her be someone on your team. That's a weird power dynamic. We don't like to get into power dynamics there. That's like just weird. I guess he kind of doesn't have any authority, and it's like, it's not like she's on the US women's soccer team and he's the coach for that or something. That would be a different dynamic versus like, oh, like, what, you gonna sit me on the bench? I don't really care. Or I'm gonna go to the head coach and tell her like, you're trying to sit me on the bench. Or let me tell her about this relationship that we have so you can get fired. Like, I feel like in that situation, I would have more power. Because, like, I'm not losing a job. Or, like, she didn't have, a soccer scholarship, so she would be okay. He, like, really had more to lose in that. So he was just stupid. And she's just like, she gets to live. I mean, her mom's a senator, so that was bad. But other than that, if her mom wasn't a senator, she's like, fine, you know? But yeah, we find out he has a wife. Whitney never knew he had a wife. And his wife seemed like very nice. So that was very disappointing to me. Like, your wife seems nice. Do you, like, is there anything wrong with her? Like, what? Is it just that you just like black women? Because, like, just find a black woman. You know, it's not hard. You'd have to find one who is, like, willing to date white men. Which I feel like there's a lot of them. A lot of black women who are like, yeah, I'll date white men. If I was into men, I think I wouldn't care, you know? Yeah, but she finds out he has a wife. It, like, kind of is cut off for a second, but then he's like, no, I'm gonna leave her. They have this cute little race in the park, which is, like, super cute, and you're like, dang, that was actually cute. But Dalton's a liar. He doesn't leave his wife. He lies to her, says he's gonna leave her, doesn't leave her. She finds out about that. Then she's like, she has her little Jasmine Sullivan moment. Bust the window, touch a car. He deserved it. Coach finds out about the relationship. It's over. Dalton's gone. So, I mean, that one was, like, doomed to fail from the beginning. It wasn't like a Ezra Arya situation, which was way worse. But I think they got, like, they were really together at the end. I don't know. Even though Ezra was, like, A or whatever. I don't know. I don't remember this. This was, like, so long ago. This feels like it was 10 years ago. I don't think it was that long, but it feels so long ago. Yeah. So I don't think that's actually my bottom tier, like the lowest one. I don't know how many of these are, but this would be like the second highest one because the Bela Seth Meyers is a joke. So this one's above Max and Kimberly. All right, now this one's a big contender for, like, the number one spot in my favorite ships from the show. It's obviously Bella and Eric. Like, that is another one that I just saw coming from the beginning. I'm like, yes. Also, if you know, like, if you're like, oh, this is a Mindy Kaling show, this is the Indian girl, ooh, white guy, and you're like, nerdy white guy, you're like, this is it. But yeah, I mean, I didn't even kind of think about that. I'm just like, I just watch these shows and I'm like, okay, I am always for it. In every show that she does, like, I guess I've only watched this and then Never Have I Ever. So, like, I always ship that girl with that guy. The girl is, like, nerdy and bumbly, right? And then the guy is too. And then I'm like, yes. I don't know. I love those characters. Maybe that's a little bit me. So, like, I feel seen, but, like, no one wants the Indian girl to always be that one. And then, like, Bella is such a disaster. And then she's, like, depressed at the end. I really feel bad for Bella. And her character deserves so much more, honestly. And you really have to give her more. She deserves more. And this relationship deserved more, too. Like, I don't know. Maybe you're going to put her with an Indian guy. No, don't even do that because, like, you did it in Never Have I Ever. It was terrible. And then you were like, oh, he actually sucks, too. Like, are Indian people, like, you just don't like Indian people? Stop writing about them. Let someone else do it. Let someone else do it. Okay, but yeah. Bella and Eric, they meet because Bella is like this Catullin, hopeful freshman. She goes into the little, I don't know, pre-meeting for, like, whoever wants to join. And he makes, like, some microaggressions and tells her, like, oh, there's this other group called the Pot Stickers. They're all Asian. You might want to look into getting into that one because we have, like, maybe, like, 2, or I don't think there's going to be that many women's spots this year. And you're like, she shouldn't want to join this misogynistic thing anyway. I went to the University of Pennsylvania. There was this comedy group called Mask and Wig. They're like all male. Like they don't even let women into that one. And there's probably like some women or NBs who want to join, maybe. I don't know. Maybe there's a situation like that. I don't know. But maybe this is even kind of about, I don't know. I don't know. I was like, this feels like that, but at the same time, I don't know that much about that. So I don't know. But yeah, I immediately saw them as a couple because they're both nerds and that's always cute. He's one of the editors, so him just telling her not to join was like, you suck, the group sucks, don't do that. But yeah, they're both nerds, super cute, but he does not believe her about Ryan's assault, and it makes me like not like him. Which at this point he's not really likable anyway, so yeah. And, like, Ryan is his best friend, roommate, co-editor, so it does like it would be very hard to believe that, so I don't put that much on him for not believing her or whatever. I don't like the words he uses, the language he uses about it. Really hate that. Hate it. But he does come back. He apologizes. He said, I do believe you. Very like good moment. And at that point you really start to like Eric. So yeah. After Bella leaves the Cotillion and its toxic male vibes, she has a bit of trouble with her new magazine getting it off the ground, and she goes to Eric for that. He helps her out, which I love. And when she comes to thank him, like she kisses him, they become sex buddies. But they're just hooking up, and they're also hooking up with other people. So yeah. But then Bella meets this other girl he's like on a date with or whatever. She finds her own date, tries to make him jealous. She doesn't get jealous, but she's jealous. She just kind of admits that to him, asks to start dating. He's like, okay, and they're dating now. So then this guy Dan O'Connell comes to Essex, and Bella's like his do girl for the whole time. She's like, I'm gonna do whatever I need to do so I can get an internship with this guy. And she's been working like day and night so hard trying to get this internship. And then like weirdly this man is at like a party. I don't know, I guess it's a theta party because they only seem to go to theta parties. So he's at the party and Bella's like, oh yeah, he's here, I need to get him a cold beer. And Eric's like, oh, I'll go do it. He wants to meet this guy and talk to him and whatever, because he's like, I need a comedy job, because they all like have that energy. So this is what he does. He goes and like, I feel like he just like runs her over to get to Dan, and he's like, I'm gonna take your job now and go and be his do guy. You know, I'm gonna be the do girl. For just this one like thing. I'm gonna get him a beer, super cold beer. I know you love your beers this way, whatever. Trying to like shoot the stuff with him. And I'm like, Eric, seriously? Why? No, stop that. This is Bella's moment. Do not take that from her. Don't be a white boy about it. And he totally does. And then he's like, ooh, I would love to submit some stuff to you, whatever. I don't know. I don't really know how that I don't remember how that conversation starts. But like it really just feels like he took Bella's chance. Like he's like, I have all these things, because she's like, what would you be looking for in the comedy packet? And he tells what he's looking for, and then Bella's like, I don't really have that stuff. And he's like, yeah, I have it though. And it's like, you know, this is your girlfriend at this point, help her. Like they could have worked together to build up her packet, you know. She like tries to work all night, but like I think also Bella's like very like trying to be self-sufficient at this point, which I don't understand, because she'd asked him at one point for help before, so like you should be able to ask him for help again. I do understand actually. Like she feels like he took her chance. She didn't like that. She's mad at him, so she's not gonna ask him for help. She could have found someone else, but there's, I mean, unless like Evangeline could have helped her, maybe she could have. I would have asked Evangeline actually. She should have done that instead of just trying to do it on her own. But at this point she's mad. She's just trying to do it on her own. She doesn't figure it out, so instead, like, I don't know, she has some sort of conversation with Leighton. What she takes from that is go have sex with Dan O'Connell. So she does that because she's like, I want the internship so bad. If I do this, he will be like, this was the best night of my life. He will never forget me. And I'm going to get an internship, unpaid, and I can do all the stuff that I did for him again. I guess, I mean, he probably wants sex at that point, though. Who knows? But, you know, she could always report him or something. I don't know. He was a good guy, actually. That was, like, the only drawback. Because he wasn't like that other white guy that she had met before who was, like, a comedy guy. And he was, like, a washed-up comedy guy who just had been on the Cotulin before. I'm assuming Dan O'Connell is not from the Cotulin. But, yeah, he, like, referenced her. Like, he made a joke. She helped him with the joke. And he, like, referred back, like, oh, she helped me do this joke. And so I really liked this guy. So it kind of, that was a little disappointing, but I mean, she did come there looking really hot, so I can't blame him. I mean, kind of can, but like also, she knew what she was doing. But yeah, Eric finds out about this. He's really mad, and it's like, I mean, I understand, but also like, you could have helped her with the packet, so I'm not too mad about it. And like, Evangeline tries to take up for her like multiple times, but then they're like, yeah, Bela, there's kind of no taking up for you for this. And it's like, yeah. So they break up, and then like his dads are like, he was so sad about you for months. And I'm like, how long has it been? How long were they dating? Like, or he's been like, you've been going back and forth with him for months, and it's, has he just been pining after her or what? Like, I don't know how long it's been. The pacing of the show is weird. We'll talk about it many times. It's just weird pacing. But yeah, they're over. That's done. They'll definitely get back together because that's very like an OTP for me. So I know it'll happen. And Mindy Kaling, so yeah. Plus this happened and never have I. It happened and never have I ever. So they're going to get back together even though she cheated. These girls, or these guys, don't care. They don't have self-respect. Alright, now like one of the most boring, I guess, ships so far, but also another one where they just would have been so much greater as friends. And it's like they were great as friends. They even still kind of are, but it's a little strained because the relationship was a little weird. And this was one of those ones that kind of shows you like, okay, maybe I don't want to be in a relationship with someone who I'm already friends with because that could ruin the friendship. It like did ruin the friendship. They weren't friends before, but they kind of had more of a friendship than a relationship. They just were hookup buddies. Canaan and Whitney just like, Whitney sees Canaan, this is very like fresh from relationship with Dalton. She's like, I want to find somebody to make me forget him. So she like eyes him at this party and she's like, ooh, he's hot. He's looking at me. I'm looking at him. She goes over and she's like, do you want to show me your room? And he's like, oh, yeah. Because she's like, I'm not for the small talk. Let's go. Do. That's what I'm trying to do. I know you want to do it because I'm hot. She's like confident. And I'm like, yes, girl. But you know, it's really her like Beyonce moment. You cheated on me kind of thing. Which I like, I guess he did. But more so like that's kind of the wife's place. But anyway, this is like her rebound from Dalton. So like Canaan is a rebound. That's like usually never something that really works out anyway. It's just like, this is my transitional moment before I get more serious again. But like they had a good like little bond in which they, I mean, they're both black. They can have things to talk about there, obviously. But yeah, the one night stand turns into casual sex. And I think they kind of just should have left it at that. But like, she's like, I thought I was your girlfriend at one point when he asked her to be his girlfriend. And I don't know, maybe that kind of develops because of like the fact that they could be friends. It was like, since we have sex and we are very good, like in a friendly way, we're dating. I don't really know how relationships work. But yeah, I feel like they had great friends with benefits vibes, and they could have just got rid of the benefits and kept the friends, and things would have been great. They'd been like, okay, we've grown out of this. We want to find people who we are like gonna date. I feel like this was kind of like the token like black relationship they just wanted to throw in there for a second and then just kind of take it back out. She just got jealous when this new girl, Zoe, comes to like the coffee shop or whatever he works at with Kimberly, and she's like, oh, this girl's super smart. She has all this stuff. She's not just like a one note person, because Whitney's just an athlete at this point. She doesn't know who she is or anything. This is before her little self-discovery moment she has, because he's like, Whitney doesn't have anything else. That little moment, and she was like, I didn't like how you said that. Which, like, obviously understandable. You shouldn't have said that. And definitely just, like, talking about her behind her back at the party. And you know she's at the party, she definitely could have heard you. At least do that, like, in the confines of your room with somebody else or something. I don't know. But, yeah, like, she only like it gets jealous because this Zoe girl, and then she's like, let me look through his phone, and then they end up breaking up because why would she do that? You like crossing boundaries and stuff, and he told you he didn't even like her, which like, I mean, the relation, I just never really, because I already just liked Canaan with Kimberly, I could never completely get behind this, but I was like, Canaan's hot. So yeah, but like, it's just kind of a boring relationship. I don't know. I just think they'd be great as friends. Whitney should go to KJ house more and just be around black people a little more. It's like her and Willow. Willow is like the token black friend, but she's the token black friend for a black person, so it is okay. That makes it okay. I don't know. It doesn't, right? Because Whitney still kind of has like that upper crust like thing that, I mean, she's just a different black person. Black people are all kinds of people, which is good to see. And then Willow's more of like someone that they might see as more of like a token black person, right? A regular black person, like, I don't know. Now, another pairing I found really fun was Bela and another pairing I found really fun was just Bela and Evangeline. It kind of fell off. They don't have a lot of scenes together, so it's not something you could really, yeah, I see this happening. And then Evangeline just, I don't know, she becomes a little too nice, I feel. I don't know. It just, yeah, it's kind of disappointing. Not wanting to ship too much, but it's an honorable, it's an honorable mention. Like, initially, Evangeline, like, really hates Bela because she jerked off her boyfriend. You know, when she was trying to get into the Cotillion, she was like, I need all these votes. But Evangeline actually liked Bella's comedy. She really, and she like voted for her and everything. So when she found out about that, she felt like so hurt and angry about it. But they make up at the naked party, whatever. She's like, whatever, I broke up with him. It's cool. You're a great writer. Let's move past it. And Bela, like, you know, apologizes and everything. So when Bela leaves the Cotillion, she comes with her. She's like, yeah, Cotillion was toxic. Let's do this lady comedy group. And they're like, I don't know. I think they're kind of like they should be co-editors, but Bella's just like, no, this is my group. So there's that. She tries to defend her when Bela cheats on Eric, so you know she's like really got her back and everything. But Bella's just terrible. They're about to be roommates, but then Bela like really just tells that other girl, like some girl who tries to get help from her, she like really tears her down and tells her don't do comedy. And then Evangeline's like, girl, I'm done with you, you're terrible, like, no. Yeah, Bela just messes up a lot. But I mean, this one had potential. This one could have been like the enemies to lovers kind of thing. I mean, there's too much of that potential in this show, I guess, and it can't be for everyone. I just really liked them. Then you could have that like Asian women loving women representation, 2 Asian women, but not everyone can be gay. Yeah. All right, now one that I found really fun, and I don't know if anyone talks about this or not, like Whitney and Jenna. Now this would actually be the perfect enemies to lovers within the show. It's the only one that I really like wanted to see. And I mean, they're both athletes. That automatically is like gay vibes. And as a gay for gay, I know that these two just had the perfect enemies to lovers potential. They both have breakups, so that's like, we can get together. Whitney calls Jenna pretty, and I'm like, yeah. She says, you're tall, you're ripped. Not many guys our age could handle being with girls like us. So it's like, that was very like a, guys couldn't handle us, but we can handle us. Let's get together. Yeah, it's the classic segue to a gay storyline, but there's already Leighton, so we don't get that, It could have been, but it's not. Plus, like, at this point, we're using actual gays to show the gay relationship. So, Renee's doing that. We don't have information about these other girls. They're probably straight. But anyway, like, her saying that these guys can't handle us or whatever was really a callback to the older guy thing, you know? And also, Willow just thinks that, Jenna thinks that Willow and Whitney are together. So, no, she's not that type of girl. She's not gonna come steal your woman. Okay, so after one of Leighton's like grown woman hookups kind of calls her out for being very closeted, and she like gets angry, smashes an alcohol bottle on like one of the founder statues or something. She ends up getting forced to do community service at the women's center, and she hates it, and she's that's where she meets Alicia, who oversees all of the volunteers there, and they really grind each other's gears. Alicia's like no nonsense very about it. Leighton's like, I don't even want to be here. Alicia's like, you gonna be here or I'm not signing off on your hours. Leighton, you cannot be ordering chairs for yourself. Girl, are you serious? What the heck? So I don't know if you can hear that. I'm still been recording. Might have to redo some of this stuff later, and it'll really annoy me. So Leighton and Alicia is our actual enemies to lovers plot that we really get in the show. Leighton warms up to the women's center, and then they go to a theta party together. And she doesn't really want them to go because she knows like that'll be kind of problematic. But she like warns theta, and then they're supposed to be like lowering down on the problematic elements of theta. But yeah, there's a situation with a guy that happens, and and Alicia's like, yeah, you have a problem with me because I'm gay. Yeah, that's it. No, actually, that's not what happens. There's a situation with the guy that happens. He calls Alicia a slur, and then she's like ready to fight him. But Leighton's like, no, don't do that. And Alicia thinks it's because she's like, these are your people. And Leighton's like, no, like you're like 5 feet tall. He would have freaking clobbered you. And you like, Leighton like likes her. She's like, you don't know me. Like, I actually, like, I'm one of you. She doesn't say this, but she just, like, kisses her. And then it's like, oh. Alicia has her little, oh, moment. And it's like, it's kind of nice. And it kind of makes you forget, like, the pacing of the show is just terrible. Like, I don't know. I don't think they haven't had enough build up. But do any of the relationships in the show have enough build up? I think I feel like Eric and Bella did actually. It just felt so natural. And maybe that's just like with the type of characters they are, it just felt natural. But yeah, like they kiss. I guess they go back to Alicia's room, do the do. And then like Leighton's about to leave. Alicia's like, no, stay. Let's watch Netflix. And really just like then she's like, can I borrow your Netflix password? And I'm like, girl, you can't say let's watch Netflix and don't have a password. You just want her to stay so you can get her information. And then maybe you never have to see her again because now you got the Netflix password. This is why Netflix is cracking down on us. The gays are sharing passwords. But yeah, eventually this relationship is just like super cute. Leighton's like, I like you better than anyone I know. And it's like, at this point, like that's kind of obvious because Alicia's the only one who knows that Leighton's gay. So she's the only one she can really be herself around. So not much of a question of like why that is what she says. I guess it's not, who's asking this question? No one cares. But like, I'm like, that's why. And this is me like, this is Lakeisha after Tatum speaking. But at the same time, after Tatum and now like Alicia's hot. So yeah. Um so Leighton's like weird. She's so weird about it. Like she's like, I don't even want strangers to know about us. I'm gonna introduce you to like the person at the coffee shop as my business associate. And then Alicia's like, I want to exist outside of the apartment. I don't just want to be inside the apartment. And Leighton's like, weird about that and leaves. But then she like tries to make it up to her. They go on like a date outside of town because they can't go inside of town because no one can know near them. And then they're supposed to go to a bed and breakfast, but Leighton's bougie, so cancel that. We're going to a nice hotel, maybe Four Seasons or something, I don't know. Marriott, Hilton, whichever one they go to. Probably not a Marriott. That seems like a cheap people one because I've been to it before. I don't know. Um But yeah, like Alicia's trying to like enjoy her time and she takes a selfie and posts it on Instagram. But Leighton's like, there's a YSL in the background. No one but me could possibly have those. People have seen me with this on campus. Delete it, delete it, delete it. Bela liked it. You better delete it. And then she deletes it and she's like, Leighton, I can't do this anymore. You're too far in the closet and I'm like too far out of the closet. Like, you need to either come out or I can't be with you. And Leighton's like, bye, bitch. Which, like, yeah, but like, then Leighton's like really sad about it though, and like actually tries to get her back. And Alicia's like, no, I'm moving on. You need to move on too. And that like really disappointed me. That was like where I was like, I don't F with Alicia because she said like, no, I can't do this. But then she came back to you because like she really obviously cares about you. She loves you. And you said, no, bye, go home. That was actually where I was like, oh, I don't like Alicia because I'm like, don't do that. Like, I would never do that. And maybe that's me because I've like I guess I've kind of been in this situation, or maybe I am in this situation. I don't know. And I'm like, I would never. Like I'm like Alicia couldn't have really cared about her if she couldn't have really cared about her if she just let her go like that. Like you didn't really want her. I don't know what you wanted, but it couldn't have been her if you just let her go like that. I would never have done that. I don't care. I will climb into the closet with you. We will have fun in that closet. I love a closet. My new vibe. I love a closet because you're in the closet. So much fun happening in that closet. I don't care. So yeah, like they're like not together. Leighton, like I guess I mean, obviously she completed her hours at the women's center before. And so they don't speak again until like Alicia finds out Leighton's out and she's been like sleeping with all the lesbians on campus and she's like a hot commodity. And Alicia's like, oh, so you can be out with other people now. You have a girlfriend now. You're like out. Let's slide back in there since, you've had that little phase that you needed to. I want back up on this. And I kind of hate that because, like, you didn't work with her through the bad times. You don't get to just be here for the good times. You need to be there for the bad times too. Otherwise, you don't deserve. So, like, that's my thing. It's not like, oh my gosh, we love Tatum so much. Like, there's like actual reasons for this, right? But like she comes back and I'm like, ooh, she hot now. I just like longer hair, obviously, because I'm like, ooh, Kimberly's hot now. Ooh, Alicia's hot now, season 2, because their hair is longer. But like Kimberly just had a bad haircut. Alicia didn't. I just like she's not the ideal one for me. And who cares? But like yeah, she's back. She's hot. She's like, yeah, Leighton, yay. The women's center's failing. Nothing's going right. Let's date again. You have a girlfriend? Oh man, you can bring her to the thing, yeah. And then like Leighton gives her that check for the women's center because it's like failing, and she's like, "Oh, my mom was gonna donate this to Kappa, but I don't like them anymore." I don't know if I've been saying Cap. I think I've been saying theta parties. Okay, not Kappa parties. I've been right. Okay, but like she's like, "Yeah, I don't want to be in Kappa anymore. Here's the check of like $20,000 or something. My mom was gonna give to Kappa, but she gave it to me. She's like, I'm with you, Leighton. I'm with you, my gay daughter. Here's the check. You can give it to whoever you want." Leighton gives it to the women's center. Alicia's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I love you. Kisses her. And she's like, oh no, you're in a relationship. And Leighton's like, no, we just broke up. Like Alicia's like, I didn't care about your relationship. I knew if I kissed you, like even if you were in a relationship, you'd want to be back with me. Like we're meant to be. It's like, girl, you didn't really care about Leighton. Stop being a liar. I mean, they're not like in game. I would not. They're not in game. I considered reading fan fictions about it. Didn't. You know, I only read gay fan fiction, so this is the one that I would read about. But I'm like, I really don't like them. I don't see the chemistry. Maybe like the actors actually do have chemistry, but I'm like, I don't get it from the characters. Which also could be like, I mean, Leighton's not really a fleshed out character. Alicia's like way more fleshed out than Leighton, who is actually a main character, so it's weird. But yeah, maybe like this will become a better relationship in the future. I don't know. I really like more the chase than actually the relationship, like most people, I think. So basically, it's boring, and they're gonna have to end it so that we can see something else. Plus, it's college. Like you kind of expect people to just go through a lot of relationships, which I guess Leighton already has. So then they're like, oh, full circle. She's back to Alicia. This is gonna be the one, but I don't really like it. So no. Now we've gotten to the relationship that I know is purely based on just like Renee's fans. Because I'm like, there's like no reason for people to really ship this at all. Like, they don't have enough scenes together, they don't have enough interactions. They're very sparse and they're very like Kappa oriented. Like, Whitney and Leighton, people just want Aaliyah and Renee to be together because they're like, oh my gosh, such chemistry, such friendship, they're perfect together. And Renee's gay, so yeah. And she's like, oh, I love Aaliyah so much. And then, yeah. And I see it. I see it. I would love that. Like, it'd be so cool because I'm like, oh, wow, such a beautiful relationship. But, no. Um, But yeah, I do like that it's like, okay, let's not so much ship Renee and Aaliyah and let's instead put that on their characters. But I feel like that would still cause a weird dynamic within the friendship. Like it's like, okay, we have to kiss on screen and stuff. I don't know. And that is cool for some people. So maybe it would work. Renee like said she likes watching that though. She's like, it's kind of hot. So I'm like, no, it'd be a no for me. I think the actors are like, yes, they're like for it, but so far there's not like anything really going on between these girls, Whitney and Leighton within the series. Yeah, but Whitney and Leighton interact, but somehow not enough. Honestly, Leighton has way better like chemistry and interactions with Kimberly, but I decided not to include that because I mean Kimberly's very straight, and I'm just like, that's not one that I'd just be like, oh my gosh, one true. I would super be into it if it did happen. I definitely would be like, yes, but I don't expect it to, and I kind of don't want to see it. Like, they could just be great friends. Like, they're from like completely different sides of the spectrum of like, I guess, like Kimberly's poor, Leighton's rich, um, and then like where they grew up and stuff. The only way that that could be more like different, right, is if one of them was black or one of them was a man. But Whitney and Leighton are both invited to Rush Kappa, so there's a link between them there. They get more screen time with each other because of that. Um, and we can remember that in earlier episodes, Whitney did have like one of these type of nose rings, which kind of screams gay. So on that little gay spectrum, she could be, because she had that nose ring. But I don't know, maybe that's just like Aaliyah's nose ring that they were like initially like, you can keep that in. We don't care. Her character might they like didn't figure out the character yet, so she was wearing it. But like quickly she stopped wearing that nose ring. So I don't know about that. Um Whitney seems pretty straight, could be bi. Who knows? But she's gonna be joining that sorority next semester, so she could gay it up in there, how sororities are sometimes. And I mean, one thing about their relationship is that Leighton only admits to liking Whitney. Like, she's the only person who she genuinely says that she likes. Like, there's that moment where they're at Whitney's, like, soccer game or whatever, and Bella's like, "You like Whitney?" And she's like, "Yeah, shut up." You know? So, like, Whitney's the only person that she, like, genuinely likes as a person until Alicia. So, they could try and build something from that, but, like, I think it's too late. And I don't know, it would just be weird. So, no on that one. There's like nothing there. They could make it happen. They could, but I don't think they will. Now I saw someone suggest Quinn and Leighton from a TikTok, and I was like, honestly, yeah. Like, that would actually be like probably the most fun one that I would see Leighton in, like the best one, I think. So Quinn's the Kappa girl that Leighton went to high school with, and I think they have like a 2 year difference. Like she was a senior, or when Leighton was, I don't know, but I think they have a 2 year. I think she's a junior, and Leighton's a freshman in college. So Quinn's the Kappa president. Leighton kind of like worships her. She refers to her as the queen of Essex social scene. And she basically wants to be her. So I guess this kind of like would be another twincest thing. And we've already had that, so we don't need it. But maybe this should have been, this is the one, this should have been the twincest one. But Quinn like has a boyfriend. And I don't know. Quinn does make Leighton feel better about not vibing with the other Kappa girls, and I just loved that moment. So it's like I could really see it, but like also they could just be cool friends. Leighton like does this thing where she like calls her and stuff. I don't know if they have like a friendship like behind the scenes or what. Maybe Leighton's just like annoying to her. I don't know, but she doesn't act like it, and I love that. Um, but yeah, Quinn has a boyfriend, so. And then she tries to set Leighton up with like some theta guy. So it's a no. Like it's obviously not happening, but it always could, but it won't. But it was like a nice like little thought. And I would read fan fictions about it. So alright, so Kimberly and Jackson. This one like is cute. She initially has beef with Jackson because he has like super loud sex next door to them, and she's like really annoyed by it. So at some party, she ends up yelling at him about it, and then he gives her his number so she can yell at him more because that's his kink. Yeah. Um, but she finds out he's also taking Irish Lit as she's on the way to her Irish Lit class, which she is like so shocked about because she thinks he can't read. He's like, "You think I can't read or something, right? Because like I'm super hot and like I couldn't possibly be taking Irish Lit." She's like, "Yeah, I'm superficial, even though I don't look like I would be." Uh, but yeah, Jackson's actually really nice. Such a nice guy, and he listens to her problems. He's like a Nico replacement. Like, because obviously they would just find someone to replace Nico. The only reason Nico's gone is because that guy just like wanted to do a different project instead of doing the season 2. So that's why they got rid of Nico. So they're like, let's find a replacement. We'll find a hotter guy. We'll find a taller guy. We'll find a buffer guy. And they did. And he's like, I don't know if he's blonde. He doesn't really have hair. Let's see. I think he's blonde too. So like they're like he's blonde, which like that makes him hotter for whatever reason. I guess I don't know. Is it like do we like tall, dark, and handsome, or do we like blondes? Do we care? I don't think we do. But yeah, I actually really like Jackson. He invites her to study with him at one point though, and she's like, "Ooh, this is a date. This is a date. This is a date, right, guys? This is a date, right?" Everyone's like, "Yeah, it's a date. Be hot, girl. Dress hot." And Kimberly's hot this season, like with Jackson versus like with Nico. She wasn't even hot, but like he thought she was hot. But this time she's like legitimately hot. Her hair's longer. She's just makeup's looking good and whatever. She's just hot this season, and I'm like, I'd smash. So I understand, dude. Um, but yeah, she's like, this is a date. But then she shows up. There's this other guy from class, some like nerdy guy who's like short and small. And she's like, what? I thought this was a date. And then he like tries to set her up with that guy. And she's like, dude, no, like, no. And then he's like, well, he liked you. So I just was trying to help him out. But like, you're hot. Because like now everyone always like thinks Kimberly's hot. And she's like a super nice girl. So it's like nice. Um, But yeah, then we have this moment. Big boy runs fast. That's like my favorite moment from the show. It's like so stupid. Like I like had to pause and laugh and replay it like at least twice. I love that. Whoever wrote that, like best line, thank you for that. Um then like when she has her egg donation after that, he takes care of her when she gets locked out after like she tells Leighton to go to the little mathlete thing and be a nerd for the night and stop acting like she's not. And she gets locked out. She falls asleep in his room. It's a very cute moment. Whitney sees her there with him and she's like, oh my gosh, I love him for you. But it's really nice. But then she like gets like med zoned because they're like everyone's like, oh yeah, he's gonna see you as sickly and like Tiny Tim now. And they're actually right. Um, but then she sees him at a party and she's like, I'm completely healed and I'm down for anything. And then like they do like the kiss and have sex thing that every time someone kisses in this show, they immediately they do the kiss and have sex thing because every time someone kisses in this show, they're immediately having sex. Like their clothes are off. You can't just kiss. You have to have sex. Um, But yeah, like then they're like dating. They have wowie zowie sex. And then Kimberly's like, I'm breaking up with you. I'm in love with Canaan now. So bummer. But I mean, that one was kind of boring anyway. They did have things in common, so that one where they were like, we don't have anything in common was weird. Because they did, like, that's like what happened, English lit and certain stuff. Like, they don't have to have everything in common, like, duh. And he even says this, like, yeah. But they like date for like 2.5 seconds and then they're breaking up because Kimberly suddenly likes Canaan, who liked her all the time, but she never was interested in him at all. She likes white boys, hot white boys. So I actually love Whitney and Andrew. I think they're great together. Initially, Andrew's really rude. He has that moment where like Whitney and Bela are talking during class and he like interrupts them because they're interrupting the whole freaking lecture and it's understandable, but he's just overly rude about it and then like says things about them and just is rude. Ugh. And then they get paired up with each other for this lab for their bio class. And he's like, don't even come. Like, Bella's not there. He's like, you don't need to come either. I've got it. Like, y'all are just gonna slow me down and mess it up anyway. Y'all are stupid. I'm smart. That's the vibe he gives. Which, I mean, because they talk in class and stuff, you'd think like he would be right. But like Whitney is actually trying and doing well in the class. And I think at this point, like he should have noticed because she's answering questions, getting them right and stuff. But he's probably like, that's like a she got lucky moment or whatever. Or he just doesn't care. He just thinks he's smarter than everyone. That like wouldn't even matter. But yeah, Whitney like ends up finding out he like messed something up in the lab, and I don't know, he maybe doesn't have. I feel like at that point he's like, okay, like maybe let's give her like the benefit of the doubt. She found something I did wrong. I know he's very embarrassed about it, and then like that situation, she sees his arms and is like, dang, he's hot. She's like, I love white boys, which I don't know if y'all know. Like I've like read. I think most people probably don't know, right? I've read the original script for the show, one of the original scripts for the first episode, and Whitney was initially supposed to be a mixed girl. Her dad was supposed to be white. So, I mean, I think that also carries into a lot of like how her character is played. Like she was supposed to be a biracial girl, but I feel like they probably decided not to do that because that happens too often. So they were like, let's find someone who's black and also someone like, I mean, they probably didn't say, let's find someone with a certain skin color. Maybe they did, which would be good because we just need someone who's like black and looks black. Like, I couldn't play someone, even though I'm just black. People sometimes ask if I have a white parent. So I could have played the Whitney that initially was going to be Whitney, I guess. Um, but yeah, that was gonna be like a whole thing and it didn't happen. But I think this is carried on into the character that she is now. But she just like loves white boys. They decided to make that it instead of like having her be also white. Which like fine. I am breathing so hard right now, like whew. But yeah, during the lab, like they decide we're in bio, but we have chemistry. And she thinks he's hot. He's like, okay, you can look if you want. I don't mind. And then they end up kissing later, and kissing leads to sex. They have sex. They're like, oh, I'm not going to do this again. We're not going to do this again. They immediately do it again. Not like immediately, but like there's another moment. And they're like, we shouldn't do that again. And then they do. And then like this is like a thing now. But then like Willow and the other girl from the Cajun house, who like Whitney sometimes hangs out with, they're like, no. But then the other girl's like, well, he's kind of hot in like an Albert Einstein way, nerds or whatever. But yeah, Andrew shows up while the girls are having like a meal one day in like their like cafeteria or whatever. And he's like telling her, like, you're like, we're going on a date. And like, I'm like, you came to tell her that? And like, she's black, so she shouldn't be for that at all. And I don't feel like she is, at least like not initially. And it's kind of like, But then the other girls were like, oh my gosh, he has such confidence, which very much was led by Bella. Like, ooh, BDE. But everyone was like, yeah, that confidence, whatever. He was so direct. I love that. And then suddenly Whitney's like, yeah, I'm into it too. But I don't think she was really into it. But like whatever. She said she was. So she goes on the date with him and it's really awkward and weird. Like he's so bad at conversation, and that's something coming from me who I'm terrible at like conversations, autism. Um yeah, and he sends the water back because it has a bad smell. It's just like a such an awkward thing. It's such an awkward thing even just to watch. Like mm-mm. It was a terrible date, bad date. She knows it was a bad date. She was like, I'm never wearing this shirt again. It must have like bad date juju on it or something. But the thing is, they actually have great chemistry. They have such great chemistry together. I'm like, these actors, like, I don't know, do they have great chemistry or are they great at acting? Like, which is it? But yeah, they actually have good chemistry and have things in common, like the fact that they're so into their major, like the bio, they're both great at it and like super serious about it. And then like you find out like Andrew's like playing basketball in the gym and they're like, "What?" And he can shoot and make shots and three pointers and whatever. And she's like, "Cool." And like all of a sudden, like I guess Whitney can also play basketball. But like cute, they're both athletes. They have this cute basketball moment and I loved it. Loved it, absolutely. And I'm like, this is cute. Like they could actually be a really cute couple. This could have more development. I don't think the writers took Andrew seriously, which like, that's fine because Whitney could stand to date someone who's not white and it could happen like not as a rebound or just like a let me get back at someone I was just dating or find myself after that sort of situation. And she should spend more time at KJ house and just have more of a black experience, because that's always important. But Andrew could be likable. The writers don't want him to be, and he's like a hot nerd, so I'm like into it. It could happen, but they don't want it to happen. It's fine. um but what happens is Andrew says that they're dating. Whitney doesn't like this. She ends up like ending everything with him and she's like, no, I don't like this. I don't like you like that. No. Which, like, fine. I actually really like that she's like, kind of takes that agency of herself and is like, no, I don't want to be in this relationship. I don't like it. This was like a sex thing for me and I just thought you were hot. We love that, like, kind of like women liberation kind of thing. Love that. But I am sad that I really did feel like this had a lot of potential and it was like thrown away. Which like kind of subverts the thought of like, oh, Mindy Kaling likes putting all of her characters with white men and like especially like nerdy hot ones or just nerdy ones. But not this time, apparently. But I really did like that guy. I did. And he's super tall. But yeah, no, it's a no. It's not happening. But it would have been great. And I don't know if I'd read fanfics about it, but I would consider it. I would like start to, and then I'd be like, this is too straight for me. Turn it off. All right, so Leighton and Tatum. This one's so funny because Tatum pulls up in a car and tells Leighton to move out of her way, and I'm like, oh wow, that's so funny. And then she like blows her off when Leighton's like, oh my gosh, I have that bag too, and she's like, no, you couldn't possibly. And it was like such Leighton energy, and Leighton's like, oh my gosh, she blew me off. That was so hot. And also, at that point, Leighton just looks like a little rundown because she's just come from like the mathletes thing, and is like, "Wow, nerd, get out of my way." So it's just cute, and it's like, wow, Leighton's not even. Well, she is a nerd, right? But she's like also like the same type of girl as Tatum. So it's funny because Tatum's like, "No, nerd," and Leighton's like, "No, I'm you. I'm like just like you," and Tatum's like, "No, you're not." So it's like that kind of moment. But Leighton's like, damn, that's hot. I want her. And honestly, same girl. I love me a mean girl. Leighton is so thirsty for Tatum, and it's a little embarrassing, but still same because I'm gonna marry the girl I fell in love with when I was 18. Yeah. Well, yeah, in a very me fashion, Leighton goes into gay stalker mode and like finds out all the details on Tatum. Like she goes to Willow and is like, "Who is this girl? I need to know everything about her." She strikes up a deal. Even she's like, "Yeah, I'll pay for your jacket in order to like just go and you take me to the tennis court so I can like suddenly run into her again because I'm like down bad for this girl. I just." Had a not even really a moment with, but like, damn, that was hot. All I have to say about that tennis court situation is that I really like that line, like where Tatum's like, I just love the line where Tatum's like, just own it if that's what you're into. Like, I was like, yes, be yourself for your bride, girl. Like, don't try changing yourself and saying that you are not interested in it because she's not interested in it. You don't have to be the same. Like, she doesn't care, and if she does, she's not worth it. But also, apparently, Leighton's been to the Met Gala, and I'm like, do rich, like random rich people, are they like invited or what? Like, y'all just hanging out with, I mean, I don't know if Beyonce goes. Does she go? Anyway, I guess y'all just hanging out with Rihanna, the rich people. They can afford it. They just going. It's not just a celebrity event. I did not know this. I should have known this, I guess. But apparently Leighton's been. That's just what you do. I mean, right? Those TikTok white girls have been, so why not Leighton? But yeah, later at a party that's probably Theta again, Leighton like Prada shames Tatum because she's like got a bag from like a past season or something. And she's like, yeah, maybe you don't like me, but I'm judgier than you, so we'll at least have that. And maybe that'll make you like me because I liked that about you, so you should like that about me. So here's my number. Nah, but Tatum's like really like, oh my gosh, you're judgier than like it really does work. Tatum's like, wow, this girl's judgier than me. Here's my number. But also no, because Tatum was totally looking for her. So like she was at least a little bit interested. I don't know. It feels like she shouldn't have been interested, but then she just like randomly was. Because she had brushed her off every time, but like suddenly now she likes her. And then she likes that she like puts down on her. So she's like, here's my number. That was kind of weird, but I don't know. Maybe that's like a upper crush thing. Yeah, so Tatum's kind of into her, which definitely felt sudden, but yeah, she is. Then Leighton has the number, but suddenly is like, oh no, I'm not good enough. She's cooler than me. I have to be like cooler and like play games so that she like wants to go on a date with me when like she already gave you her number. She was interested and at least maybe wanted to be friends if she wasn't gay, but then she is. And also Willow knew her, so you kind of knew she was gay because Willow knows the gays, I guess. That was like the confirmation, yeah, she's gay. I don't know. But yeah, they have great chemistry. The pacing of the show was horrible, so like that kind of like them like getting together was maybe a little bit weird, like how that happened at the Theta party. That suddenly she seemed into Leighton, and I didn't understand it, but I definitely was for it because they're hot, they're blonde. I love me a hot TV blonde lady. Yeah, but it's weird because Leighton's like, I'm not cool enough, even though she's just went through her little hoe era, and I feel like she should be so confident about herself and her like ability to like get a woman, keep a woman. Like she had girls fighting over her, but she's like, no, like I'm dating up. So I have to be cooler than her, like, but I'm not. She's cooler than me. I have to show her that I am cool and that I can, like, I'm worthy. And it's like, this all happened after Leighton was like, I am my own type. I would date a me. So she's like, this is how I would appeal to myself. Like, I guess that's what we kind of forget that Leighton and Tatum is just like Leighton, like appealing to herself. And she kind of has to like get a little bit out of that. Like, I've changed. I'm not like who I was before. I'm becoming someone new and I don't even know who that is. I don't even know who that is yet. So is she even the one who I want, right? But yeah, Leighton's a disaster gay. Tatum's like, you didn't have to impress me. I already liked you. And then we get into one of my favorite moments, which is when they are both like going to dinner with their dads and they run into each other. And at this point, Leighton's basically out to everyone except for her family. So she's like, oh no, I have to pull Tatum to the side and let her know, I'm sorry I introduced you that way, but my parents don't know. She's like all rambling about Alicia and everything. And Tatum's like, girl, it's okay. You don't have to be out. Do it on your own time. I understand. And like, I know that's the moment where everyone was like, oh my gosh, like, we really freaking love Tatum because Alicia did not give her that at all. And she left her because she was like, not out. And it's like, that's not fair. You don't try and push someone to come out. You don't try and like, I don't know. And like Leighton even came back. Anyway, that's a whole different thing. But we love that because of that. And then just like, also just like when she brings her to the dorm party after that, like the way that Tatum just looks at her during that time is like, whoa, I want someone to look at me like that. Like she's just all smiling at her and whatever. Um, we love it. Like plus we just like love Gracie. Like she's like a lesbian icon. We remember her from like Chasing Life way back when. And I mean, she was the hot older sister in First Kill, so yeah, she was way hotter in that. Yeah. She might have been playing her age there, so like yeah. But like at times in Sex Lives of College Girls, like her hair did not look good. Like when they went with their dads, I did not like the little like the part they had in her hair. I did not like it. Which Gracie's hot. They shouldn't have did that to her. Um yeah. Oh yeah. The dad's moment plus the moments where she's looking at her like that. Hard yes. Hard yes for me. Loved it. Um but yeah, then we get into them having sex and then Alicia like text while they're having sex, which like that sucks. I don't know. And I don't know how long Leighton's been out at this point because like why did Alicia wait so long? It feels like it's been a long time. I know it's not like it's just been did she go through freaking over 30 girls in like 2 weeks? That's why she freaking had chlamydia. Girl, you just weren't doing nothing. Yeah, it was so wrong of them to have Alicia text Leighton, like the text to come up while she's having sex with Tatum. That was like so wrong. I don't know how long it had been since Leighton had been out at that point. Like, how long was it before she decided to send this text message? How long was it? Like, girl, you just waited all that time? But yeah, that was the foreshadowing of the end of Latham and the revival of Alicia. And I don't think that one has like a ship name that would be so easy to say like that. But Alicia stands rose up. They did. Um, but yeah, they have that little moment. They end up going to the women's center party. And I don't know, people were weird about this where they were like, wow, they really had Tatum do like a completely different way of acting. She would not have acted like that. But it's like, yes, she would have. Initially, Leighton didn't like the women's center. Like, this is her introduction to it. And she's like, it smells weird here and stuff like that. So yeah, we have a bunch of people saying basically that Tatum's attitude like completely changed when she goes to the women's center and like says all these things, but her attitude didn't change. Leighton would have reacted the exact same way, and she did react the exact same way when she first like encountered the women's center and the people there, very like negative, anti kind of that vibe. So it was just Tatum being herself. And she could have had a chance to grow from that. Who knows? Leighton just was like, no, these are my friends. You disrespected them. I'm ending it, which I really respect that. But I do still think Leighton deserved the chance to grow. Like, I mean, Tatum deserved a chance to grow, like Leighton herself had. But the writers want Leighton with Alicia. Leighton's with Alicia. Fine, she moved on. Yeah, Leighton breaks up with Tatum, which was disappointing, but I see that. Like, it was never really going to last. But I don't really want her with Alicia. I think I want her with someone completely new. And I hate her French to Laura's trope. but I think if she could develop a relationship with someone who was just, and it was started out as a friendship, it would really like hold strong and be just a great relationship. I'd love to see it develop and happen. And it could happen with someone who's already there or just someone we will meet. Either way, this is how they would do the Leighton and Whitney that people want so bad. Maybe people don't care anymore because, like, Alyssa, but who knows? Anyway, yeah, I've spent too long on this one. We're gonna move on to our last one. I really think this one is my favorite. I saw it coming for the beginning and I thought maybe I was wrong for a minute there, but we pulled through in the end. Canaan and Kimberly. I think he always liked her, at least after we got through the initial hurdles of just her being from this small town white girl, doesn't know anything about black people or any other type of people. Like, they can't even eat Mexican food there, it's too spicy. So, like, Taco Bell's too spicy. But I think after that, he really, like, she grew on him, he liked her, he was really interested in her. There's, like, little moments you can see, but I did not take note of those, didn't think it was going to be happening because the Canaan and Whitney situation. But that ended, and then it, like, I guess it just opened that again. There were subtle things, not enough to mention, you had to be there. But if you rewatch season one, you'll kind of see it, probably. I knew. I wished and I knew. Just a girl with a dream, and the dream came true. I would have put this down anyway, but there just honestly was not enough to take notes about it and be like, yeah, this is legitimate. Which I guess I did like Evangeline with Bela and Quinn with Leighton, so there had to be enough. There had to. They worked together, seriously. But yeah, in season two, he invites her to come to his like awards banquet that like she convinces him to go to. And what he does is he lies and says that he was gonna invite Zoe because he's like embarrassed about it. So he plays it off as if she was his second choice, which is like rude, but that's kind of their dynamic. It wouldn't make sense for him to be like, yeah, I want to go with you. Off bat, you'd know, like, But also, it would make sense because she convinced him to go anyway, so, like, that just makes sense, but no one can be straightforward. One thing, like, I think Kimberly never, like, even thought about Canaan. She didn't take him serious. Well, she never thought about Canaan. She came from where she came from. She probably never thought, oh, I'll date a black boy. But when they went to that, when they went to the banquet, she like learned so much more about him. She was like, wow, he's super smart. He really cares about like different causes. They danced together. He told her about his mom. It was just a good time. And I know if they had been econ study partners, this would have happened like way sooner. He might not have even dated Whitney, or he would have, and then found out like, I really have feelings for Kimberly, and then would have had to end that with Whitney and get with Kimberly because Canaan's a good guy, so he wouldn't have like cheated. But I think she really starts liking him after he opens up to her about his mom, and she's like, "Whoa, he's a hot nerd. He's a nerd." And Canaan originally said like he really sees her with someone who's a nerd. Like he said that in like season one, and then season two, he's like a little jealous about Jackson, and he's like, "You really like the hot guy, don't you?" And he's hot and a nerd, so she get to have her cake and eat it too. So they literally have her call him a nerd. I don't know if they planned that or what, but yeah, it really just like works out that way. And after they go to that banquet together, and she's like, dang, Canaan's hot. I think I like him. She immediately goes and breaks up with Jackson because she's not a cheater. Great job, Kimberly. Even though you lie about it later to Whitney, but at least you went and broke up with your boyfriend. Like, that's the only smart move she made in this situation. Canaan invites her to hang out at the theta party, and she like initially like declines, but then ends up going to hang out with them. She chases after him in his like group, then like pulls him away to talk to him. She's like, "Why did you lie to me about inviting Zoe? You know you wanted to invite me." She's like, feels so good about it. And she's like, "Admit you like me." And he's like, "Okay, fine, I admit it." Like, he's embarrassed about it. Then they kiss. Whitney says, I think this is the only time that the people on the show kiss and they don't have sex. That's really like how bad that is. But I think it's like the only time that happens. Which is nice because this is like a nice little pure, like, he really likes her, you know? It's not just like a fling type thing. He like, it's genuine. It kind of shows that about the relationship. Oh, yeah, that's it. I will quickly rank all of them. Let me see what I like. All right, so I talked about 15 couples or 15 pairings in the sex lives of college girls. And for the ranking, at the bottom, we have, of course, Kimberly and her ex-boyfriend, Max. Max sucked. Number 14, we have Whitney and her coach, Dalton. Dalton also sucked. Then on 13, we have Bela and Seth Meyers. It could happen, but that one's a joke still. 12, Kimberly and Nico. It was okay, but not like the best. 11, we have Whitney and Leighton. People are definitely just shipping Renee and Aaliyah. So let's just get over that one. 10, Bela and Evangeline. Not enough screen time together, but it was kind of cute to think about. Yep. 9, Quinn and Leighton. Also no screen time together basically, but the way that Leighton looks at Quinn is like cute, you know? But she already had her twin sis thing. We don't need it. 8, Whitney and Jenna. I've talked about this. I don't know if other people care, but I just think that would have been like the good enemies to lovers one. Really cute. Love it. 7, Kimberly and Jackson. Cute but boring. Next. 6, Canaan and Whitney. They would have just been better as friends. I mean, friends with benefits, fine, but better friends. Love them. And they're good together, but friends. 5, Leighton and Alicia. I don't know, something about Alicia. I don't really see the chemistry there. They are cute together sometimes, but I don't like how she didn't just stay with her the whole time the first time. Didn't like it. 4, Leighton and Tatum. We love Tatum, but also Tatum kind of sucks, but like, we love her. Love the way she looks at Leighton, love their relationship. Very quick one. I'm not mad it's over. 3, Whitney and Andrew. A lot of potential there. It's also over, but I actually really like this one. Disappointed that they didn't take him seriously because he could have been a good contender for her. 2, Bela and Eric. I mean, that's like they're in game definitely. And the two nerds, two comedy nerds, cute, love it. Want to see more of it. Like actual fun stuff. But you know, I want to see more of a chase. It happened too easily. Make him work a little for it. But now she should have to work for it because she screwed it up. And number 1, going 3 for 3, Canaan and Kimberly. That girl, she gets all the guys. And he's a real good one, honestly. He always, wanted her. That's the vibe I got from that. He wanted her for a long time. Before he was with Whitney, he like was into Kimberly, and they're finally doing it. I just really want to see a lot of cute moments between them. I'm not mad at it. I wouldn't say, oh, it's too fast, because I think it happened at the end of season 2, so that was long enough to wait for it to start. It's just kind of going to start blossoming into something else. I'm excited to see it. So, for my next thing, I'm not sure which show I'm gonna do, but if you have any ideas, let me know in the comments in case I put this out before I start the next one, which I should, right? But who knows? Thanks. And if you have anything interesting to say about this, definitely put it down. I will be happy to talk about anything. Later.